Well, good morning, my farmer friends. It is Corinna Bench, and I am the host of this Facebook group, also the founder of mydigitalfarmer.com, also a farmer, a CSA farmer for 10 years at sharedlegacyfarms.com out in Elmore, Ohio. So if you're new to the page and to the group, I want to say a special welcome to you, and I look forward to continuing to add value to you, and I want to encourage you to get to know some of the people in this group, ask your questions, and become a part of this community. So every week I show up and do a training on a particular topic related to marketing and CSAs, and today I am going to be sharing my list building Blitz campaign that I am using right now to grow my email list specifically for CSA leads. So why am I doing this right now? I plan to be doing a special early bird campaign for people who are on the CSA list at the end of October, kind of going into November. So I'm going to have a special offer that's only open for a week, and I'm going to broadcast that to people who are on my CSA leads list. So it makes sense that right now, about 8 weeks out before that happens, I want to try and capture as many people as I can into this category of CSA leads so that I can later on, once they've warmed up a little bit, try to sell them the offer for next season. So there's a very specific kind of strategy going on here. I do this list building all year long, but I'm doing a special kind of focus 7-day, 9-day blitz where I'm really concentrating on trying to get people to join my email list. And I'm going to walk you through how I do that, what that process is like. This is something that I've learned from other internet marketers, and I'm copying it and kind of modifying it for my purposes. This may not fit your farm if you haven't really embraced the kind of email model, the email marketing model. Then maybe just sit back and listen to this and kind of maybe listen to the flow and the principles behind it. But this really has worked for me. I'm going to start out just with the results. I started the campaign last Wednesday. I'm running it for 9 days, and it's been 5 days now. And I think I've gotten 37 leads so far. Now, just in general, I run my lead magnets are on my website, and I occasionally promote them on my social media pages from time to time to collect these email leads. They're there all the time. And so I would say that on an average, just by doing absolutely nothing, except the occasional post, I get a new email lead about every 2 days. And on some days, I might get 2 or 3. So it's roughly 7 per week that I'm just collecting email leads specifically for CSA. And this is nothing that I do intentionally. I just created the machine over a year and a half ago, and now it's just continuing to work for me, and I love that. So what I'm going to describe today is not so much that giant basic machine, but I'm going to talk you through the very specific list building blitz campaign that I am doing right now. Okay? So here's what most people do when they're trying to grow their email list. If you're a farmer, you're probably taking something like this to your farmers market sites, and you bring up your CSA and you ask them to write down their email address, and then you might go and manually add it into your Gmail account or whatever as a contact. And then from time to time you might shoot them information about what's going to be at the market next week or send them a newsletter. You might also just have a little pop-up box on your website that says subscribe to my newsletter, and maybe you collect a few people there. Although I know I tried that for a long time, and I found that wasn't very compelling. I didn't get a ton of people wanting to get on my newsletter. And so you might even try posting on social media from time to time and saying, hey, if you want to get on my email list, maybe you send them to that form where they can opt in. That's what a lot of internet marketers might try too. But nothing really significant happens. Your email list doesn't grow rapidly. And so what I'm going to kind of talk you through here is what rapid list growers do in the internet marketing space and what I've tried to kind of modify. Okay. So rapid list growers, they are always working on growing their list. So this is not something that they just think about from time to time. It's kind of a regular discipline, a regular part of their system. They're always worried about how can I get more people into the pipeline? I need to continue to feed the funnel so I can keep growing my membership. Rapid list growers are also then trying, once those people join their email list, they try to sell using social media and their email list at the same time. So they don't just rely on the occasional post through social media to sell their stuff, but once they have the email address, which is the gold standard, they can then use email to add value to them, to build that know, like, and trust factor, and then slowly pitch them offers from time to time. Not all the time, from time to time. Okay, so that's what rapid list growers do. They're not just using social media to try to sell, but they find a way to capture the email address so that they can also use email to add value and teach them and grow them. And they cultivate this email list with weekly value. In some cases, it's every other week, but most people who do this well will really have this discipline of, I must email my list on a regular basis and let them know that I'm in there on their radar, I'm in their world, and add value to them, teach them things, show them things they didn't know. And then from time to time, they'll pitch things. And slowly but surely, it begins to gain traction. This machine begins to kick in, and the list starts to grow, and the people on the list start to buy things as this cultivation happens, as they get to know the person through these regular weekly or every other week emails. And increased revenue is the result, right? Which is one of the goals that we have. We want to grow our customers so that they love our product and their needs are being met, but we also want our bottom line to increase. So I guess one of the first things I want to hammer home here first is that growing your email list is a continuous effort for me. And it's not just something that I do, on these Blitz campaigns 4 or 5 times a year. It's always something I'm thinking about. And every week I kind of just do a mental check, like, okay, is there something that I can do to just kind of remind people of a lead magnet that I have? So this is more about setting up a system for getting people to subscribe to your list every day. And I have to tell you that I literally do get someone subscribing to my email list every day. And most of it is because I put this machine in place. And then, like I'm going to describe to you now, I have these occasional bursts of high activity to try and rapidly grow that list for short periods of time. But I really do have a system in place where it just chugs for me now and I don't have to do anything else. So my goal with this list building Blitz campaign that I'm doing for the next 9 days is I'm trying to get people onto my CSA leads list so that in about 8 weeks, I can pitch them with my early bird offer for next season, okay? I know that I need 8 weeks in between because I'm gonna use that time to cultivate the relationship with a weekly email. I also have an email drip campaign that I've pre-written that kind of teaches them stuff in the next 10 days after they subscribe. And I'm just going to warm them up. And then that gives them time to research and to think about it. So when I finally come in with an offer they can't refuse, they might be more ready to buy. Okay. So there are kind of 4 steps to growing an email list. And before I jump into those 4 steps, I want to just explain there are 2 phases that kind of happen with these steps. The first phase is what I call launch mode, which is this list building blitz concept where I go in hard and heavy for 7 to 9 days, really pitching my lead magnet everywhere, just nonstop, unabashed. That's all I'm talking about on social media, not really talking a lot about other stuff for 7 to 9 days. Okay, that's called launch mode. I'm really trying to get people to join. And then in the off times between, I might do those like four times a year, maybe 5. And then in the off time, it's what I call maintenance mode, where the system that I've set up just kind of runs on autopilot and I kind of get that 1 to 2 people every day just automatically without really trying, okay? So step 1 of this 4-step process is to sign up for an email service provider. So I know that most of you probably have that already, and the one that you have is probably just fine. If you haven't found one yet, that does automated drip campaigns, which is kind of a key piece in this puzzle, that's something I would encourage you to think about, all right? Now, I know this is a big decision and some of you are resistant to, wanting to switch over, and I get that. So if you like your email service provider, stay there. If you don't have one yet, I encourage you to check out ConvertKit or Drip. Those are both really good. They are paid services. The reason I like ConvertKit is because I've had really good results with getting it into the inbox, not the promotions tab, and I do pay a monthly fee for that. But I'll put a link down in the bottom after this video so you can see I'm an affiliate for it. I'm a huge believer in this software. It's been huge for me. And so you can kind of check that out. I think they have a 30-day trial, free trial, that you can sort of see how intuitive it is. But you do need an email service provider. Like I said, convertkit.com is the one that I like. And once you get this email service provider, the second step is to decide on something called a lead magnet. Now, you need to give your followers a reason to join your email list, okay? Something compelling. They're gonna need some kind of bait to lure them in. So the two lead magnets that perform really well for me are my A to Z vegetable storage guide, which is on my homepage of my website, and this is downloaded a ton. But it's not really for my CSA folks. This is just for anybody who might just kind of be at the top of my funnel, who's learned about me, who's interested and getting to know my farm. But for this list building campaign Blitz, I'm not using that one. I'm using my 6 questions to ask before you join a CSA. This is a lead magnet that I created. It's basically a PDF, a document. I think it's 8 pages long just because it's a big font and I got pictures in it. And it explains the 6 questions that I think people should ask before they get serious and join a CSA. And some of them are tough. Some of them are like, you know what, if you feel this way and you don't think this way, then you should not join a CSA because you'll not have a good experience. So when you're crafting this lead magnet, you want to think about, something that's so valuable that people would probably even pay money for it. Something so valuable that they are willing to trade their contact information to get it. I think this one, the 6 questions to ask before you join a CSA, is a really good one because it's kind of something that typically goes on home pages of really good websites. It's kind of designed to help someone feel like, that you'll like this if, or you would enjoy this product if, and it kind of helps people identify with the problem they're trying to solve. Makes them feel like, yeah, that's me. I want to be in that. I want to be a part of that tribe. So I think that's partly why it works. This is a really good lead magnet. If you would like to get your hands on this document and use it yourself, just kind of tweak it, that's totally fine with me. And if you subscribe to my email list, it is something that you automatically get as one of the freebies in my drip campaign that comes out to you. So if you're not on my email list, you can get it at sharedlegacyfarms.com/DFLab. You may have to type in http://www. I'm having some issues with my website theme right now, and if you don't type that in, it might fire up the 404 error page. So sharedlegacyfarms.com/DFLab for Digital Farmer Lab. And if you subscribe to that, you'll automatically start getting emails. And in that email series, one of those is this lead magnet that I say, hey, here it is for you, use it. This is really critical piece, having an awesome lead magnet, some kind of bait. Now, part of this step 2 is also then creating a form on your website so that people can actually opt in, and then when they type in their email address and name and click send or whatever, it automatically sends this PDF to their email box right away. Now, how do you set that up? There are a couple of options. I use lead pages to help me design them and make them look really, really snazzy. But you can also make these forms in ConvertKit as part of just their package. And I'm not sure if other email service providers do this. I know probably Drip does, but I don't know about MailChimp if they'll do it. But they basically allow you to create a landing page and a form. And then there's this code, this fancy HTML code that you then put in a certain spot on your blog post or on your certain pages of your website. If you want that form to go right between this section and that section, you would just stick it in there and it would show up as a form. Okay, so you have to create that form and make sure that they're connected with this lead magnet, all right? I have a whole tutorial in this group that you can look up on, it's a Lead Pages demo, and that allows you to see kind of the basic concept of how it's built in that sort of a software. But you create some kind of a form that people can opt into or inside a landing page software builder, and that's kind of the end of step 2. Then step 3 is to promote the lead magnet, okay? And like I said, there's 2 phases to this. There's launch mode, where you do these 7 to 10 day intensive blitzes where it's all you talk about. And then there's sort of maintenance mode, where you have a system that runs on autopilot, that you don't really, put a ton of intentional time into, but it just kind of builds your list slowly in the background in the off times. Okay? And you're just alternating between these 2 modes all year long. So you set up this system one time, and then you just rinse and repeat it over and over and over again with a few modifications from time to time. Okay? So what does launch mode look like? Okay? And that's what I'm in right now. If you go to my Facebook page or my Instagram page, you will actually see this. You can go back and look at the last, 5 posts, and you can kind of see what this looks like practically. So when you're in launch mode, first of all, you choose your start and end dates. Okay, so I decided I'm going to start on Wednesday, I think it was the 29th, and then I was going to go at least a full week. I've kind of decided I may push it another 2 days. We'll just kind of see how far I can push the envelope here. There does come a point, I think, where people are tired of hearing the pitch constantly, and they want you to go back to your other stuff. But I'm at least going to do 7 days. And then I go into Instagram, because I have an Instagram account where I'm doing this as well. And I change the link in my bio so that it takes them, when they click on the link in the bio, it takes them to my opt-in page, the landing page that has that form, okay? That's kind of part of this step in launch mode. And then I create a post schedule, and I'm going to walk you through what mine looks like in just a second so that I know in advance, on day 1, I'm going to post this general thing. And on day 2, I'm going to take this aspect of it and focus on this. And I have like a posting schedule for both Facebook business page and Instagram page. They're very similar, but there's a little bit of a change in the formatting. And then I just start posting. Once the launch date comes, I just start posting. And if you have the ability to do this, a big bonus is if you can create an automatic kind of email sequence in advance that automatically fires when someone joins this form. So this is something I did a year and a half ago. I made this, I think it's like 7 emails long. And it's just sort of, some of it is giving stuff away, giving freebies, telling my backstory. And then there's some sections that are trying to slowly educate and pitch the concept of what a CSA is. Okay, it's sort of a warming up sequence. So if you can create like a 7 email drip email sequence that automatically fires, that's really awesome, because that then triggers after they sign up, and it just warms them up some more. But if you can't get to that right away the first year, not a big deal, because you're going to be writing them an email every 2 weeks at least, so kind of does a similar thing. All right, but I think that's one of the reasons why mine works in that maintenance mode, because when I'm not really like intentional about it, because then that will just fire right away as soon as they join, and they just start learning about who I am. Okay, so what are some of the things that you might post during this 7-day schedule? So you could share stories of how the lead magnet can help that person. And so your ideal person that you want to join your CSA, you kind of can come up with a story about, hey, this is going to solve this problem for you. This is going to transform you. This is going to give you clarity about X, Y, Z. All right. So in my case, I just keep pitching this idea that, listen, I know that not everyone's a good fit for CSA. And have you ever wondered if you would be? I know the 6 questions. I know the 6 questions that are going to help clarify this for you. Don't you want that clarity? Okay. So for someone who's like on the fence, it's like, oh, it seems like a lot of money, or, oh, what if it's a waste of food? Then they're going to read this, and it's going to help them feel a little more prepared. Another idea is that you could talk about who the offer is perfect for. Okay, that could be a focus. You could talk about who the offer is not perfect for. That could be a whole post in one of your 7 days. You could talk about why you made it. That could be a post, and then you kind of link up the call to action. You could showcase one feature of the offer. So in my case, I have 6 questions. So I've sort of teased out one of them in one of the posts, like, hey, this is one of the qualities. If you want to know the other 5, download the PDF, okay? You could literally print out the lead magnet, do a video of yourself holding it up and saying, this is what you're going to get. This is why I made it, etc., etc. Here's how to get it. You could go behind the scenes of you making the lead magnet, I guess. I don't know if I'm going to do that for mine, but if you want to show yourself actually creating it at a computer, a picture of yourself, and then you could talk about it again about why this is so valuable. This is a good one. Share testimonials of customers who've actually used the lead magnet or who are in your CSA. So that's something that I did last Thursday. The video didn't turn out, so I'm going to have to do it again with someone else tonight. But I actually asked one of my core members, I said, hey, can I do a quick video of you? This is what I'm doing. I got in the shot with her, and I just said, hey, you're one of our CSA masters. I want you to tell me what you think one of the top 6 qualities are to really succeed at the CSA thing. And then she shared one of her ideas kind of with me there on the camera, and then I pitched how you could get the other 5 from this lead magnet. Okay, so that's another way. You're basically using a video testimonial of one of your people in the actual post. And then this is a good one for Instagram. You could say something like this: send me a DM, send me a direct message, and I'll send you this offer. And this is why this works in Instagram. When you're doing DMs, the links in direct messages are live. They are not live in the normal app, but in direct messages they are. So if you can get people to direct message you, then you can just send them the link that they can click on right inside of Instagram in the direct messages. So as you're creating these posts, again, I want you to go and look at my Facebook page, and you can see some examples of how I've done this. Every single post should also obviously have the call to action at the end, right? So you're doing some of these things, and then at the end you're saying, hey, to get your hands on this, go to, and then you give the link, sharedlegacyfarms.com/write CSA or whatever it is, so that they see it. That is, you have to make sure you issue the call to action, so be sure to add that. Now you can boost these posts or create ads out of them. So if you really want to jumpstart your list and get the eyeballs on them, then you may even put a little bit of money behind them. And I have done that for one of them. There was a video of me just talking about how I've created this resource. I decided I would try boosting that one because it had a lot of views. But there's another one that I may decide to throw $5 behind as well. And at the end of the day, if I have to spend $10 and I get 45 names out of it, that's not a bad return on my investment, in my opinion. So I'm only doing that from time to time. This is not a lot of money, right? I just told you I want you to look for an example of this on my Instagram page, which is at slfarms2, the number 2. So you can go follow me on Instagram or just take a look at what I've done the last few days there. And you can also go to facebook.com/sharedlegacyfarms to see my business page. You can like that business page so that you'll see it, follow it, continue to watch what I'm doing over the next few days. Now, I also create each day of this Blitz. I'm creating 2 different versions. I'm creating one, obviously, for my Facebook page, and I'm creating a different one for Instagram. And remember that Instagram likes square posts. So sometimes I have to kind of change the image, or I use a different feature image. But the text is so far very similar. I do add a lot of hashtags, though, to the Instagram post. There's also an app that I use called Linktree. linktr.ee is what you would type into the URL address to find this app. This is a free app for Instagram that allows you to create multiple links in your bio so that you can tell someone to go to your bio and then choose from a bunch of links. So while you're if you use Linktree, I have a whole video training, kind of a screen flow video that shows you behind the scenes how it actually works. Super awesome. And I usually have like 4 links showing there, but during this list building blitz, I remove or I disable 3 of those links, and all that I have there is the link for my lead magnet. So I did want to make sure that I mentioned that as well. So my results so far for this list building campaign that's been running for 5 days is I've had 37 signups just for my CSA leads email list. Think about it. That's pretty awesome. That's 37 people that I'm going to be able to pitch in 8 weeks to try and join my CSA for next season. And even if they say no and they're not ready, I'm going to be cultivating them for an entire year. And then next year I'll pitch them again, or maybe I'll pitch them in April. If I haven't sold out, I can pitch this group again and try and get them to join at that time once they've warmed up. So this is a really powerful way, I think, to kind of get a burst of people onto your email list during these launch moments. So what happens when the launch is over? It's been 7 to 9 days. All I've been posting on my Facebook page, business page, and Instagram page are things that relate to the lead magnet, how I want people to download the lead magnet. Then comes phase 2. So phase 2 is the maintenance mode. And this where you go back into, for instance, if you have Linktree and Instagram, I go back and I re-enable those 3 other links, one to my A to Z vegetable guide and one to my store, etc. Okay, so you just kind of put those back in. And I'll change the bio text in my Instagram as well, so it's not just focused on, hey, get this lead magnet. It's just kind of a general overview. And occasionally, then during that off season, that maintenance mode, I occasionally bring up the lead magnet. So I go back to my schedule of like, hey, here's a video of us packing your boxes, or hey, here I am out in the field. I'm going to show you how these zucchini flowers are different. Whatever, I do a lot of video education. I'll do post pictures of the box on this beautiful palette. I'll special offers. I just kind of go back to my regular routine, and maybe every 8 to 10 days, one of my posts is about a lead magnet. It could be the A to Z vegetable guide, but it could be the CSA 6 questions to ask before you join. So it's just something that comes up, but it's not the salesy push very frequently. It just occasionally comes up as one of my options, okay? And that's maintenance mode. And as long as it just, people are learning from me, they're getting value, and when they see that post that comes up from time to time, and they're like, I think I'm ready to see that now. I really like this girl, or I like this brand. Okay, that's what maintenance mode looks like. All right, and then step 4, we're almost to the end. Step 4 is once the launch is done, you have to commit to communicating with your email list consistently. And this is where the rubber hits the road. This is where some of you are going to be like, I'm done. Okay, signing off, not watching this anymore. So I know this is hard, but this makes a huge difference. This is the work of marketing. Okay, once you set up the machine, which is a little bit hard, I admit, at the beginning, you don't have to do that anymore. Then the only work of marketing, the 45 minutes a week that you have to do to kind of maintain that branding, is writing the email. And to me, that's totally worth it. So I want you to think about this. Someone who is on your list is telling you that they want to be in connection with you, okay? So just put that into your brain, because I think sometimes we're afraid to email them because we're like, I don't want to deluge them with tons and tons of emails and just get them so sick of hearing from me. They want to be in touch with you, or they wouldn't have subscribed. All right, so stay in touch with them, help them out, nurture them. So this is the secret. Don't sell stuff every week. If you sell stuff every week and all you ever do is say, hey, you can get this in my store this week, then no, they are going to get sick of you, and they're going to unsubscribe, and it's going to feel salesy and it's going to be icky. But if you have kind of a rhythm of, I'm going to try and teach them something in my weekly email or my every other week email. I'm going to send them a link. Like I got one from Weber Ranch, which is one of the groups that's in here, and she's actually local. She does beef and pork and chicken, and she sends out a newsletter. And I complimented her because last week her newsletter was awesome. I opened it up, and inside it was like information about how to use these chickens that I get from her, how to freeze them in these marinades. And it was a whole bunch of ideas for marinade recipes. And I never knew that you could do that. And so I printed that out, and I'm like, awesome. Okay, so that's a great example of how she used email to teach me something and nurture me. So guess what? The next time I see her email come through my email box, I'm going to open it because my brain knows I got something valuable from her last time, and I bet it's going to be valuable this time. So if you create a pattern of always giving, teaching, adding value to someone, then people are more likely to open up the email the second time and the third time and the fourth time. The open rates go up. But you have to have this commitment to, I'm going to teach stuff. I'm going to add value. I'm going to think of things that they don't know that I can share with them. Okay, so really committing to communicating consistently with your list. If you can't do it every week, then every other week at the very least, send something out to your CSA leads email list and share information with them, okay? This is set different than that automatic drip campaign that you might have in place that fires automatically when they join the list. That's awesome if you can put that there, but in addition to that, you have a discipline of every week or every 2 weeks writing just to that list, trying to teach them something, okay? You're not always having a call to action to buy or to sign up for your CSA. Sometimes it's, hey, I want you to download this freebie I made for you, my gift, or hey, I want you to go to this link that I found with amazing marinades for chicken, okay, which is what I did, and it was awesome, okay? So the call to action is not always buy, buy, buy. If you only email your list when you have something to sell, you will get low results and people will not always open your email, okay? So just remember that. When should you email this list? Okay, you should welcome them when they initially join your list. That's what that kind of automatic email drip campaign is all about, the one that I talked about that has like 6-7 emails in it. And it just gets them kind of in your system. You introduce yourself, you tell them you did, this, you're in the right place. I'm so glad you did this. Here's what you're going to learn. Here's a freebie, et cetera, so that you kind of indoctrinate them into your tribe. So that initial welcome. The second time you should email your list is whenever you have new content to share. So if you've written a blog post that week, that could be what you talk about in your email, your weekly email. Hey, just kind of a quick teaser, but you don't give it all away and say, if you want to read the rest of this, here's my blog post that I wrote, okay? If you have a newsletter that you just put out, you could link them to that. If you did a video on Facebook Live or you put it up on YouTube, you also put it up on YouTube, you can tease out the video but don't give it all away and then say, hey, if you want to watch the whole video, go here, okay? So anytime you create something new is an opportunity to email your list, okay? Once a week, once every 2 weeks. When you have a new product to sell, okay? So I'm not saying don't ever sell stuff, but don't sell every week. If you have something new that you're featuring, like your Thanksgiving shares, for us is coming up, or we have chicken bundles that come up when we partner with Weber Ranch, those are things that we'll bring up to our entire list. Or if we have a CSA Farm chef dinner, I'll pitch that sometimes too. And whenever you have new tips that you might have shared on social media, maybe you did a post and a video training on one of your pages, you can tell people, hey, go check that out. That's another reason that you could email your list if you thought it was really good. So I did a really great video on fermenting, the basics of fermenting sauerkraut and pickles with Brianne Markley, and I did that live on my business page. And so I talked about that in my email, and I said, hey, here's where you can go find that on Facebook. That was my call to action after I teased it out a little bit. Okay, so those are examples of when you should email your list, whenever you have new information, new content, when you're going to sell something or when they join your list. Okay, so that's the basic format, and you just repeat this over and over again. You repeat the launch and maintenance mode, launch and maintenance mode. Maybe every 8 weeks, I think about doing it again, okay? And I kind of try to schedule it at the beginning of the year. When I look at my marketing calendar, I kind of pay attention to where does it make sense to put these. And you can change up the lead magnet. So over time, you may create different ones. I have 2 other ones that are in the mix. One of them is the Beginner's Guide to CSA ebook. That is something I might do next time. I also have a document that's really specifically targeting CSAs. That's like the top 10 words of advice from CSA members for rookies. And that's actually kind of a popular one. Whenever I talk about it, people are like, ooh, and I get some downloads for that. So I may try that one out. These are actually from my surveys that I sent out to my CSA members at the end of the year. I asked them, if you could give me 3 tips for new rookies, what would they be? And I got tons of examples, and I picked the top 10 that showed up over and over again, and I turned it into a PDF, and I turned it into a lead magnet. And now it has its own form, which I can reference from time to time if I want. So what I love about this whole system is that, number one, it gives my content on social media focus. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, I'm like, what am I going to post today? I don't really have a plan. But if I have, these 7 to 10 day blitzes, I know that for like 10 days, I'm like, okay, I know what I need to post. I know what I'm going to do. And that's just kind of nice every day there's a little bit of a breather, like, I don't have to think so hard about what to post. But it also gives me permission to be salesy for a short period of time. And it's a lot easier to do that when I know it's only going to be for 7 days. I also feel like my audience tolerates it because I don't do that on a regular basis. I'm only doing that from time to time. And I think they just are like, yeah, okay, this is just one of those moments where she's pitching something, but I know she's not going to be doing it forever. Okay, so that's kind of one of the reasons I like this system. So again, I'm just going to review the 4 steps. Step 1, get an email service provider. Again, I like ConvertKit. Step 2, decide on a lead magnet and build your landing page, your form for it. Step 3, promote the lead magnet in short-term bursts several times a year for about 7 to 9 days. And then step 4, commit to communicating with that email list on a regular basis. Okay, so that when you have those intense launches later on, when at the end of October, when I do my 7-day launch blitz to try and get them to sign up for next season, I've got an email list that's been warmed up, and they're used to hearing from me every week, just giving them stuff, teaching them, giving things away, so that there's this feeling of generosity on my part. And when I actually pitch an offer, they're like, you know what? She's awesome. This brand is awesome. I'm learning a ton. I like this. I want more of this. And it's an easier sell. All right, so watch how I do this. You can continue to watch me for the next 2 or 3 days at facebook.com/sharedlegacyfarms, or if you're on Instagram, you can follow me at slfarms2, the number 2. And I also just want to encourage you, if you'd like to get the freebie, the 6 questions to ask before you join a CSA, you get that when you join my email list for the Digital Farmer Group. And to get on that email list, you have to go to sharedlegacyfarms.com/DF for Digital Farmer Lab. DF Lab. You may have to type in http://www before that, okay? And sometimes it misfires. Sorry, it's just a glitch I'm trying to work on. And if you are watching this on YouTube later, if I post it there, I want to encourage you to find our Facebook group where we do these weekly trainings. And you can find that Facebook group if you subscribe to my email list. It will tell you the address where you can go to get it. So Jenny, thanks for commenting. Linktree, I love it. It is an amazing tool. Go watch that video. It's pretty short. I think it's like 10 minutes. It's really going to help you out and show you how to use that particular app. And it's free, which I love. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you next week for another Marketing Minute training. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.